Alright, this is going to be the last video doing the last problems. So, problem number 9. I have $550 in my bank, and I spend $35 a week on lunch. Which function can be used to find the amount of money in my bank account after, after the keyword X weeks, right, of buying lunches? So first of all, my number is 550 and 35 a week. So that's my keyword. I know that my variable is X. The number that goes as X is 35 variables a week. Alright, and how much did we start off with? We started off with $550. Okay, but, however, we started $550. And we want to know if we're spending $35 a week, how much do we have after? So, we have to subtract that. So after we take off the first week, we subtract the 35 for the first week, then we subtract the second week, then the third week, and the fourth week, okay? So, and then each time, the amount of money that we have will be less and less. So we started with 550, and then after X weeks, when we're spending 35 a week, how much will we have left? So this will be the equation. Remember, your when you start, that's your B, y equals mx plus b. We know it's going down because it's after X weeks. So if you look at your answer choices, again, they didn't give us y, they gave us g of x. We know that's function notation. We know that's the same thing. We know that we didn't start with negative 550. The number had to be positive, right? That's why we had these two. And we weren't getting any money, right? We were trying to see how much we had left. So when you're trying to see how much you have left, that's when you do subtraction. So we know it had to be this one. Alright. Number 10. What is the equation in the slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the point 0, 2 and is parallel parallel to the line represented by y equals 4x plus 5. So first of all, I know parallel. What makes them parallel is they have the same slope. Okay. The second thing is, right here, looking at this, mx plus b, this equation is mx plus b, it's in the form. So by looking at this, can I identify the m? Yes, it's attached to the x, right? So the m here is 4. So that means the equation of my line also has to be 4. So, and it's going to pass through the point 2, 0. So, let's look at our answer choices. Here, 4x plus 2, 4x minus 8, negative 1, 4x plus 1/2. Again, I know the slope has to be 4x, so I'm looking at these two, not this one. Okay, so what we can do is I know it has to go through the point. Oops, sorry. I know it has to go through the point 2, 0, so let's plot it. Let's see what it looks like. So, I'm just going to go on ahead and take these points out and put the point 2, 0. Alright, you can see it right here. Okay, and let's look at our equations. One of the options had to have been 4x plus 2 and 4x minus 8. So let's see which one's true. 4x plus 2. Does that touch that point? Nope. What about 4x minus 8? Does that one go through this point? Yes, it does. So it has to be that one. Okay. Alright, we're almost done. Alright, so now let's go back over here. Number 11. What is the equation in slope-intercept form? Whoops. Keep forgetting to do that. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Right? Of a line that passes through the point 6, 17 and is perpendicular to the line represented by y equals 1/3 x minus 2. Remember, this number When the y is alone, the number with the x is always a slope. So this slope is negative 1/3. Okay? When I'm perpendicular, I need to be the opposite reciprocal. Remember, that means change the sign, flip the number. So, the second slope, right, what's the opposite of a negative? It should be a positive. And what is 1/3 flipped? It should be 3/1, which is just the number 3, right? So my slope of the perpendicular line should be 3. So I'm looking at an equation. It's going to have 3x, right? So let's look at my options. What are my options? Y equals 3x minus 2, y equals 3x minus 1, y equals negative 1/3 x. No, I know it's not that one because that's the same slope as this one, and that would make them parallel, not perpendicular. So I'm looking at these two options, 3x minus 2, 3x minus 1, and let's see which one goes through the point 617. So you go to your calculator, plot the point, look at it. So I put in the point 617. So I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. There it goes. And then look at your answer choices. So your answer choices were 3x minus 2, 3x minus 1. So let's plug them both in. So which one touched that point? It was this one, 3x minus 1. Alright. Now we just gotta see, where do we end up? Do we end up going to dynamo or to the rocket? So let's find out. So 12. The answer to the problem should lead you to the winning team. So the values of y varies directly with x. So y varies directly with x. If x equals 4 and y equals 28, what is the value of y when x equals 11? So I don't know if we haven't really done this, but you guys have done it for a while. When something varies directly, it's the same thing as proportion. So we had x over y. Okay, that's how they're related. Here, they said if x equaled 4, then the y equaled 28, right? And now we want to know, okay, but if the x equaled 11, what would we get, right? So this is what we're looking for. So this, you can just do cross multiplication, right? So we would do 28 times 11. So what does that give me? 28 times 11. 308. And then we would divide by the 4, and that should give us the y. So 308 77. So y equals 77. And I know, again, we haven't really done that, but y'all should know this. Y'all have done that since 8th grade. So when something varies directly, set them up as a proportion. Do the butterfly, crisscross. Okay? Multiply the numbers you have, and then divide by the only one, the last one that you have, and you'll get the direct proportion to it. Okay? So the winning team is, we end up in Dynamo. They're the winning team. So, yay. Okay. So now the last thing we gotta do is, this is not on it, but it is a problem that you need to learn, that you need to know how to do. Lucky us, it's literal equations, right? The ones with the letters. So we're gonna write the answer next to the winning team. So we know it's Dynamo, so we'll write our answer. So finding the area of a triangle can be done using the formula A equals BH plus 2, divided by 2, sorry. BH divided by 2, which of the following formulas is equivalent when solved for H? So A is equal to BH divided by 2. Remember, when we're solving for H, what do you see happening? So what do you do? So first of all, I see it being multiplied to a B because it's attached, right? And it's being divided by 2. So then remember, we work our way up. How do you get rid of division? We multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. This would leave me 2A, BH. And the last thing I do, how to get rid of multiplication? We would divide by B. So divide by B on both sides. So H would be equal to 2A divided by B. 2A divided by B. That has to be B. So dynamo would be giving B. Okay? So this is going to be your test on Thursday, and we're going to review again tomorrow doing something a little different. So make sure you're paying attention to how to do these problems.